Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Today is May 9th, and we're doing robot and nonsense stories for the end of your week.
I don't know what you guys were thinking. You were thinking, oh, God, you know what I hate? Online shopping. I can't be expected to click on things and check out. It's so much trouble.
OpenAI upgrades ChatGPT search with shopping features.
Rufus in shambles right now.
This got me thinking about it in a totally different way, though. Like, how close do you think we are to being in a future where I can deploy my drone to just go pick up something directly from China?
Quite the trip. Is your drone aquatic?
No, it can
Where
fly.
does it recharge? Yeah.
So they did put, I thought for sure it was like, oh, this is affiliate. They claim no, they're not doing affiliate yet.
Well,
Yet,
Yeah.
for now.
Some suit will figure out how much money that's worth and then say, oh, yeah, we're totally doing that.
Yeah,
And you'll
but-
probably be able to pay to get your stuff listed by ChatGPT. Same with Google.
So it's going to go and, you talk to it, you tell it what you want. And it's going to do most of the work for you, although you will still be checking out. It's not going to get your credit card yet.
Yeah, it's example there for coffee pots is a great example. It's like the whole reason that YouTube exploded, the whole reason you're watching us is because literally none of that can be trusted. You can't even trust Consumer Reports anymore. You have to get the guy who obsessively reviews coffee pots and go talk to him, and then he's like, yes, this
But why would I
coffee pot.
trust ChatGPT if it's ingesting all of the same crap?
Exactly, yeah. It's not ingesting the guy that's obsessed with coffee pots.
Yeah, it's going to ingest like, oh, here's this article from 5 years ago.
I can't tell you how many people that write into me that was like, you have personally let me down because I've used this SSD in this situation instead of this other SSD in this other situation. And it's like, if I'd known that was your situation, yeah, I probably would have recommended something different, but okay.
Well, I mean, you got to do your own research, right? As hard as it is, you do have to take some personal responsibility at some point.
No, ChatGPT is going to make it so I don't have to think about anything I buy ever again.
Isn't that the promise, though, that ChatGPT is going to do the deep research for you and figure it out when it's really just reading marketing manuals, which are full of half-truths and not even half-truths?
Well, ChatGPT is the best, and we know that because it scores among the highest, and certainly we can trust that.
Study accuses Ellen Marina of helping top AI labs game its benchmark. So you remember that thing that happened with Meta when they released their models that had been fine-tuned to do really well in the benchmarks, but they didn't really do super well in just random similar tasks? Well, apparently that goes deeper than just that.
Yeah, they let them test, 7 models and take the best score. And nobody else gets to do that unless you're, good friends with the people doing the benchmarks. So if you have your own competitor, this feels like the industry capture that we see everywhere, doesn't it? Yeah. Gatekeeping. And, we talked about the shopping, and yeah, the ChatGPT you still have to check out. But one company's saying, hey, listen, punch it in those numbers. God, that's so bad. Why would you want to do that? Just put it on file. Let us do it.
Mastercard gives AI agents the ability to shop on your behalf. And this was apparently written by somebody that has never heard of credit card companies that have a concierge. Like Discover Card, for example, you could just call up Discover and say, hey, I'm looking for this thing. Help me get it. And they will.
And it's usually free if you got a nice enough card. Oh,
You did it again, USA Today.
Why do I feel the need to click over there? I don't know. Yes, so replacing people with robots, it's continuing.
Duolingo is going AI first, replacing contractors with artificial intelligence because the Duolingo type stuff has gotten so good that AI can just do that job.
Translation is something that it excels at. But I imagine there's nuances it's going to miss, right?
Yeah. Although we are nearing the Star Trek style universal translator. Like that could probably be built in a handheld device at this point.
Well, Meta AI tried to do it, or
Yeah.
like with their Ray-Bans or
glasses,
whatever. Except everyone said it sucked, so...
But it was probably functional. That's the first iteration. I wouldn't be surprised if we see it eventually. And more companies are also admitting that, yeah, we're not waiting. It might not be perfect, but we're using it.
Microsoft CEO says up to 30% of the company's code was written by AI. Remember how buffer overflow used to be this major source of security issues? I think now AI is going to be the major source of security issues.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow. But in a few years when you need to know how it was written so you can find this bug.
This was an interview with Zuckerberg, and Zuckerberg posed the question, and then he knew. He was like, "Oh yeah, 30%." And he was like, "How about you?" And Zuckerberg was like, "Oh, I don't know." Do you think that was just like corporate espionage?
Probably, yeah.
He knows. And we haven't seen this guy for a while, but he's still out there, and he's still making real bad decisions, or at least his lawyers are.
Lawyer for MyPillow founder filed an AI-generated brief with nearly 30 bogus citations. Oops.
So they had until today to prove to the judge why that they had some, like valid reason for doing that, or they could be facing contempt. Be interesting to see how that plays out. And we've talked about the AIs and how they will do anything to gain your trust and your love. They'll say anything. They just want you to love them. And a lot of people didn't like it.
Update made ChatGPT dangerously sycophantic, and it's been pulled.
Would you say that they cut to the heart of the matter?
They made a profound observation. Mm-hmm. So the one that they pointed out, the smoking gun here, was a guy, and he was like, "Hey, ChatGPT, I'm thinking about quitting my medications." And ChatGPT was like, "That's a strong, brave thing to do." In some cases, maybe it is, but I don't know if the AI should be given that advice. And this says people, but as we discussed, I'm not sure it's people so much as, tech CEOs and boardrooms that are the problem here.
Amazon CEO Andy Jassy says that he's got a warning about how fast people are embracing AI. It's a scary fast uptake. And again, as we discussed yesterday, I think part of the reason that there's a slowdown in AI investing is a lot of these low-cost AI models for people that aren't used to using these kind of tools run just fine. They cost almost nothing to run, and people are glad to engage with them, and they're a useful tool for those people. You don't need a PhD level thing that's going to burn $100 worth of electricity to answer your basic questions.
And they're getting inserted everywhere. We all love AI search results, right? I mean, it's so wonderful just to have the machine do
So
it for
useful.
you.
They're not there yet.
And it's, how can you say that? We're more than there.
Google is putting AI mode right in search. An AI mode tab will soon start appearing in search for a handful of U.S. users.
That means probably the rest of us by the end of the year.
Do you want a citation for this? Sorry, we can't give you that.
Although it gives you the sites that it pulls from, but I find that oftentimes it'll pull from two sites and merge two conflicting narratives. And just like recipes. If I often Google, how long should I air fry this thing, right? And one will say 8 minutes and one will say 15 minutes, and it just splits the difference. One's going to be right or wrong, right? Probably. And here's, again, I didn't find an article for this. This is straight from the horse's mouth, and oh my God, the spin here.
Our new AI strategy puts Wikipedia's humans first.
Yeah, which is interesting because the strategy is they're going to start using AI. Just maybe not as much as they could. So they point out that it's all the same. Oh, here you go. You got bullet points. Supporting Wikipedia's monitors and patrollers with AI, that doesn't really say anything, right? Giving editors their time back, what does that mean? Helping editors share local perspectives or context. That's just AI rewrites, right?
Yeah.
I hate it.
And also, is there an Ouroboros aspect of this? Because it's like, oh yeah, we're asking the AI to look over stuff, and it's like, but that AI was trained at the old version of Wikipedia.
Yeah. Eventually, it just doesn't matter. It's just going to keep eating itself.
And one thing that you have to remember is that outside of politicians, maybe the biggest group of liars are economists. And outside of wine tasting, they also might be the biggest group of idiots that don't know anything about what they're talking about, and it's all made up.
Generative AI is not replacing jobs or hurting wages at all, according to these economists. And yet,
EA, Polygon is gone. How many tech companies had massive layoffs at the beginning of the year? How are you saying that's not affecting anything?
look at the elimination of journalists. It's now economically feasible for these companies to keep track of and blacklist journalists that are reporting on the state of the world with impartiality, or that are not towing the line on narratives, and then
use AI tools to hack their phones.
Yeah.
I think it's having an impact, folks. But I'm just a dummy. And I'm not good at geoguessing at all.
I love
but the people who are amazing at it are not as good as the robots.
O3 beats a master level Geoguessr player even with fake EXIF data. So this person didn't think the AI was actually looking at details in the image, and so they created different scenarios to try to test that. And holy crap, E3 was doing a really good job, like looking at the style of the houses and the background and the plants and like the colors of things and the markings on the road signs. It's like, oh, I think this is here, and did an astonishingly good job.
Now he put the challenge out publicly, and other people were able to beat it. I think it is now 12th ranked of everybody who's tried it, which is still pretty good. But maybe a little bit of hope that the robot automation future might not play out the way that they want it to.
Sorok says cutting shop staff in favor of automation has failed. Yeah.
So the whole idea was we're going to get these fancy machines, and then the workers just, push the buttons and everything will be good. Well, it didn't play out that way. However, I think this might be another misattribution, and it might not be the service and automation that are turning people off, but rather the $8 cups of coffee in a severe economic downturn. You
I don't know.
that at
People
home.
love Starbucks, though. They're willing to go.
Yeah, but they might just willing, but they do require credits in exchange for those coffees that people don't have. And this one is the one that eventually will just destroy everything, right? Because what percentage of our economy is this? It's massively huge.
Aurora launches a commercial self-driving truck service in Texas. So if you need to get your stuff from point A to point B in Texas, you don't even have to pay a human being anymore.
How does a tornado, there's a severe weather event. Do you think they just keep driving?
Dallas to Houston. They said this was the first one with nobody in the truck. Just the truck, not even an observer. They said it went perfectly. No problems. I mean, they probably ran it at 4 a.m.
Perfect weather. Yeah.
Or maybe in the middle of the afternoon on a Sunday or something. But yeah, still pretty impressive. And they're doing, the rest of the fleet still has observers in it. But this one, he's graduated. And our war with China rages on. Trade war, soon to be a hot war maybe. But one way that we can still embrace and be friends is the moon.
China shares rare moon rocks with the U.S. despite trade war. The academics it's like, okay, our leaders are having a tantrum and whatever. It's like the academics can at least share moon rocks. I mean, that's good, right? That's hope for the future.
Until NASA's cut. Who knows? But for one brief moment, we got to share moon rocks.
And Krista, you are a camper.
Yeah.
And have you ever gotten in a situation where you're like, I might have to be rescued here?
Mm-mm.
Well, this fella did. In fact, he passed out. And he had to be rescued, and he made a terrible decision afterwards.
Student rescued from Mount Fuji goes back for his lost smartphone and needs a second rescue. So not just his smartphone, apparently he also lost some cleats or something off of his
crampons.
Shoes. Yeah. So that's why he had to be rescued the first time. And then the second time, he was like, I just went back to try to find my phone. And then he passed out.
Not a smart man.
No.
I hope he has to pay for that.
I don't know what they do in Japan for when they have to do mountain rescues.
Apparently it's a big problem with the tourists.
Those people
Trying
just
to
go
climb
up
Fuji.
to, yeah.
Yeah. And they have to go get them. And here, imagine the... you have those moments when something's about to go wrong.
You see it happening, yeah.
And it's just like that feeling, the puckering. Just imagine this one.
U.S. loses a $60 million fighter jet after it slips off a moving aircraft carrier. Apparently it wasn't secured properly.
Well, they were dodging a Houthi attack, they claim. That might just be
that could be spin, yeah.
But the momentum caused the deck to pitch and slipped right off. You know what would be even worse? What if you were the pilot that just got out and you were like, oh, my phone was in there?
And then you jump down into the water to get your phone out of the plane. As you do.
You could be there right with the Mount Fuji student.
And many people who get into politics or, celebrities or whatever, they have children that embarrass them. But this one, We've reached new levels of that.
Son of CIA deputy director killed while fighting for Russia? There has to be more to the story than this. Like, what is going on? What?
We're living in clown world.
There are no non-clowns in this car.
So we don't have any other confirmation, but they did put an obituary. The family put an obituary in the local paper, but they didn't put a cause of death, which is a little suspicious. And he had all kinds of social media showing he was in Russia for whatever reason. You think that's just like, I'll show them? Is it like railing against that? Because if you're a CIA director, you're probably a monster as a parent, right? Well, these people are monsters, and always remember that anybody who tries to ban books is a monster, and we must fight them.
Book bans aren't stopping at libraries. Now Texas is targeting bookstores. Has anybody told Texas what like a lot of Stephen King's works contain, especially like during the Coke years?
Yeah, there's a part in it where it's like, what?
We need to grow up really quickly. What do we do? It's like,
I've only like read about that secondhand, and like the cringe is just. Ugh.
That's not the only one either. He's got a lot of books. I would understand, you're trying to get an emotion, I guess, from the audience, but that one was really weird. But yeah, anything to do with nudity or explicit content, but that's very, that's what a wide open definition that is, right?
You'd have to ban Lord of the Rings because it's a scene where the hobbits like are bathing and they're nude.
I don't know if the nudity is text descriptions of nudity, but I guess with these kinds of laws,
Yeah, who knows? Yeah,
yeah.
We have to get rid of Fellowship of the Ring because the hobbits bathed in it.
It's just insane. A lot of the book banners have always argued that it's like, no, these can't be in libraries. You have to go and buy them. But now that it's like, oh, you can't even buy them.
who's the prolific stay-at-home housewife mom book author? Is it like Danielle Steele? Is that one of them? Those would all be banned.
I mean, I know her name.
Yeah, I don't know if that's right.
I mean, there's a lot of romance novels.
Does she do romance?
I thought maybe not.
I thought she did like mystery.
Yeah, I thought she was
maybe.
mystery as well.
I have a vague memory of like, I'm going to get into mystery books and reading something and being like, that's not what this is.
What about Shades of Grey?
She's still right. I don't know if she's written anything since that.
I don't know. Whatever. Fight book banning any way that you can. Even if it's against your political ideology, believe that that is not in your best interest. And it's also not in your best interest to try to become a literal cat girl. Listen, I would love to have cat girls, but this is not the way to do it.
Australian woman spends $8,000 to look like a cat for clout, and now she deeply regrets it.
So a lot of that shaping in the face there, that's filler. Mm-hmm. Usually somebody else's fat, I think. Or maybe your own.
It's plastic.
Is it?
Yeah.
Well, whatever it is, it moves around. And
Shifting.
So she had to get it all removed. And, of course, beautiful tattoo there, right? What a great idea that was. And, yeah, she's got this sad video. She's all banged up. She's in a bad place. And she was like, I did this for clout. You should not do what I did. Excellent advice.
It just blows my mind that fillers are so popular, especially among like really young women. Because it's like, you're young, you're pretty, you don't need to do any of that. And it's literally just injecting microplastics.
Yeah, that's how I kind of feel about all body modification.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I guess when you're young and when you're in that world, you're competing with the other youth, right? So you're trying to stand out. I can't even remember what
something
those
like
things
it's so long ago. That's but like I can see something like cutting your hair or doing a piercing where it's like your hair can grow out, you can change your hair color back, like.
But becoming a cat, you think is too far.
It's a lot harder to reverse than changing your hair color to blue.
Also, you're a poser until you get the tail. That's what I think. You have to have that installed. Now, the last time a Pope died was 2005, which means that the smartphone revolution, iPhone came out in what, 2007, 2009?
I think it was 2009. I remember my roommate in college got one.
We didn't have them yet, which means that this problem could not be realized until now.
Selfies with Pope Francis's body spark fury. So many people. You don't take selfies with the dead. Although, more interesting.
It's literally like the meme of the guy going, like the piece over the...
He was born in 1936, which is 24 squared, and he died in 2025, which is 25 squared.
This was for sure aliens then, right?
No,
They
that's
kill them.
obviously that's the only conclusion you can draw from that.
Reptile people.
It's like it might be the first time that the papal funerary services have had to deal with people that have cell phones, but not the first time they've had to deal with people that are all into like the numbers and math and weird coincidences.
Now, we theorized that perhaps the chicken jockey thing could have been marketing, right?
Yes.
It feels a little bit like that. This maybe backs that up a little bit more. And if it wasn't, at least the marketing people wasted no time to co-opt it.
Warner's announces a Rowdy screening of Minecraft's movie with the Block Party edition. So this is just going to be, talking and singing along with the film.
The poor workers who are working in a theater and have to sit through this screening.
But I would love to see, I don't go to a lot of movies, but I would love to see a world where we start to segregate the screenings, right? Like, you
Here's the one where you want to go meme. Yeah.
You want to just sit quietly. Here's the 40 plus screening. And a lot of people are looking to get out on this guy's clout.
Player 2 is now the subject of a musical. The guy, the Player 2. The one, that one.
However, it will not be a factual musical because in this one, his cellmates will be Kanye and P. Diddy.
Oh.
Think Sweeney Todd, a modern version of Sweeney Todd. How about that?
I assume this is a local theater putting this on.
It was not on Broadway. It was
I said
California, right?
Yeah.
Well, if it takes off, it could go to Broadway. That's possible.
What is this site? And I just thought this one was funny because a bar was caught doing something wrong, and they feel that they were, it was not fair what was happening to them, but they took maybe the wrong approach to broadcasting that.
Bar in Tempe, Arizona. Is that how you say that?
Tempe.
Tempe, Arizona is the center of one of the largest underage drinking busts the Tempe police have ever seen. They posted this. 200 underage people. 200. And then they did a T-shirt.
And let me refresh so you can see the T-shirt in the video. Yeah. That might be hard for you to see, but basically they're comparing this to a tragedy, a national tragedy that we experienced some 24 years ago.
I can't see what it says.
It's 9/11.
Oh.
Yeah. They're comparing them being shut down for underage drinking to 9/11.
Oh, that's all right.
And this is one of I don't know these people's music at all.
No, but their logo's incredible.
But the logo is so good and
Party Cannon welcomed their new singer with a high tariff behavior video and release a song via a working Sega Mega Drive video cartridge.
So look at this logo right here. That's unreadable, right?
It's all death metal logos.
It's that
and that's their genre.
Death metal font, and they're all the same. But these guys decided to stand out with this logo. Oh, here's a better one right here. Look at that.
Beautiful.
And it's amazing when they're on festival posters.
Yeah.
All the festival poster, it's all white font, scary, spiky, whatever you call that. I don't know, hentai font.
Whenever I have clients ask, I'll ask if we're doing a branding project, who are your competitors and what do their logos look like? And sometimes if they ask me why, I'm like, oh, because if you want to stand out, you do something different from everybody else. And Party Cannon is the perfect example of that.
I don't know anything about their music, but I love them.
Yeah.
Just for their originality. And here is a disturbing trend of, it's not just your school life that they try to control now. Now, anything you do on social media can affect your education somehow.
Boy is sued his school for suspending him after making a gun out of Dr. Pepper cans off campus as part of an art project. It was a can art project, and his mom helped him. So again, it's the school
cute.
could look into this, but this is so dumb.
Why not just say it's a water gun?
Yeah.
That's a Dr. Pepper gun.
With a scope. Water gun with a scope.
Don't worry about that.
Also, is that his mom?
Yeah.
Is that the only picture on social media they could find? Or
Probably at this point.
What's going on with that?
It reminds me of the old pictures from the 90s. I think I have one of me and my mom, and you have the hand on the shoulder.
I love it when people would take cats to those.
Oh, yeah.
And incorporate the cat into it. And here's a fun headline. Now, the word here is lice, and they put that in the article, but I don't understand the reference. Do you?
Mm-mm.
Engagement challenge. Can anybody explain why? Is that like a Turkish thing, or I don't know?
Turkish town of 25,000 people gets involuntarily high from a 20-ton cannabis burn.
Every snack store within a 20-mile radius.
But some people, I think, are just trying to like get some money here, get some attention, because they were like, it's 4 days later, I'm still suffering.
Suffering?
Really?
What? Did you run out of Doritos? I don't.
Although that smoke looks pretty black and caustic, there might have been some like containers or something in there, which might have had more of an effect. Plastic bags, probably worse for you than a little weed. And people in the modern world, the mob forms so rapidly, and you have to be careful because sometimes you just stumble into it.
Mob chased a Brooklyn woman after mistaking her for a protester at a speech by the Israeli security minister. And I don't know, there's a lot of really scary things. Like, I would not, in this AP article, that is like, this is maybe something to be read.
Yeah, death threats, kicking, hitting, and spitting. Because they thought that she was, I don't know if she covered her face prematurely or what, but anyway, they thought that she was protesting this pro-Israel thing, and the Orthodox guys were there, and they were not having it.
It could just be really bad allergies too. One of my neighbors mows with a bandana over his face.
Is she allergic to war crimes? And this one, I feel like, just a little warning, they're having some dry weather over there in Australia. But in the future, data center future, this might be all of our lives.
Water thefts reported in Adelaide Hills amid ongoing dry period. And so these were several farmers' reserve water tanks. They were all emptied. And it must have taken a water truck several trips because there's multiple sets of tire tracks.
So just Mad Max.
Yeah, kind of.
How ballsy, right? Because how long does it take
to sit there and wait for it to
You're
filter in your
browsing
truck?
your phone.
Yeah. What are you doing? Nothing. I'm just parked next to your water thing.
And I think that puts those people in quite a bit of danger. They said the government was bringing out some like emergency water drops or something.
Wow.
Because like, what are you going to do, right?
Yeah, I guess if you had cows or something, cattle.
Or they might even be purifying it for themselves. And here's just a reminder that young kids are awful, and we should restrict their movement until at least 18.
Fart spray causes chaos at Carnival in Fairfield.
Is this liquid ass?
Yeah.
Oh,
Apparently.
man. My husband wanted some of that for a while. And I was like, I'm never getting you liquid ass.
These guys kept coming back and deploying it multiple times, and the people would stampede every time. Such stupidity. And we've heard about this, which is, usually they're using deep fakes and stuff like that. That was kind of what was going on here, but they had an inside man.
Nail salon employee pleads guilty after holding 13 remote IT jobs that were actually worked by developers in China.
Making $970,000 a year.
Ooh.
Because 13 jobs,
Yeah.
that's a lot. And I don't know if he was allowed to keep all that or what, but the Chinese, I don't think were trying to get the money. That's the problem. They were just trying to get in. And they did. I bet that guy was on top of the world for that year, right? And over in Seattle, they've got some problems. They got some public nuisance, but they're hesitant to combat it because it might be some protected groups.
Neighbors demand answers after I can't.
Rampant self-love.
Takes over Seattle Park. Now this is a park where nudity is permitted.
But there's a difference between just being nude and like being normal in public and that.
There's not even a fine line.
Yeah.
It's a very thick, bold line.
Clear.
Girthy.
It's as a result of this behavior, things will be worse for everyone.
That they were quick to be like, people were like, hey, can we just not have this? And a lot of the politicians were like, now hold on. These people are expressing themselves. Like, I don't know about that. I don't know if we should be having that.
It's a public health issue at some point, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Like just the cleanliness.
Yeah.
Everybody has to enjoy public spaces. Come on.
It'd be like someone, sneezing on their hand and rubbing it.
I would say worse.
Yeah,
Worse.
yeah.
Quite a bit worse.
Or pooping in public, you know.
But at least that you're probably doing because you don't have a choice, right? If
Yeah.
it's an emergency. There is no emergency that leads to that. Right?
Foreshadowing for our last story.
And we're seeing more and more of this, and it's disgusting.
They wouldn't go in the freezers. Funeral home director gave fake ashes to thousands of grieving pet owners and dumped the actual carcasses in the landfill, the attorney general says. This guy's 70, and he doesn't. He's just like, I thought that the people were overly emotional. I just told them what they wanted to hear.
Oh.
But he also billed them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was having to take their money.
That's the problem, yeah. So he would take the big dogs and actually cremate them, which generated lots and lots of useful ashes. And he would take the smaller dogs and the cats, just throw them in the trash. Give you the ashes from the big dogs, portion those out.
So are you allowed to throw an animal in the landfill? Like, that's organic waste, and there are rules around that, I think.
Well, I don't know if this guy was concerned about rules.
Yeah, obviously not. Or ethics. Or just general human decency.
He'll probably go to a camp or something, but he's going to do some time. But, imagine going to prison. It's like, all right, show me your paperwork. What are you in here for?
Lying to people about what I did with their pet remains, you're not going to have a good time in prison.
No, I don't think the Aryan Brotherhood or the Norteños are going to tolerate that kind of thing in the drink. Yeah, and finally, if it's a plain story with poop in it, I got to put it in here because Wendell has such a visceral reaction to it.
Passenger allegedly defecates in her seat on a flight to Chicago, and there's lots of supporting evidence because they had to clean the flight, and so this was Southwest, I think. They apologized to all of the people that were on there, and it's just what sequence of events led this to your just
Southwest, maybe they had some spicy food wherever they were, and then hopped on the plane to go back to Chicago, and they just weren't ready for it.
Some street tacos.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: you're leaving out an important detail because a lot of people, when you see that headline, you think oh, she just had a little emergency, right? Like she couldn't control it. She was naked when she did this. She stripped down, squatted on the seat, and she pulled the what was Johnny Depp's ex-wife? Remember that story?
Oh,
I can't remember her name. But yeah, she purposely dropped the deuce on the plane seat. We don't have any explanation of it.
I'll say it's vulnerable enough to be pooping in public, but why would you take your clothes off? That's the ultimate vulnerability.
Well, I think maybe mental illness.
Yeah, probably factors in somewhere here.
I don't think she's going to have to worry about flying anymore.
Yeah.
Or just anger. Oh, Amber Heard. That was her name. Yeah. She did it, hers was motivated by revenge. So maybe.
I thought it was also domination in her case. She's just I'm going to do this. And it's just what are you going to do about it?
There's a lot of weird mental problems between that couple, I think.
Maybe they denied her a snack or something.
She's like, I'll show you.
Could you please put your tray table up? And she was like, oh, wait and see what I do.
Sometimes when I'm not in first class, they're militant. I'm usually toward the front of the plane, and they're militant about not letting me use the restroom in the front of the plane, even when the service cart is out. And I was like, your manual says it's fine to use the first class restroom when the cart's out.
You're lawyering on the plane. You're sovereign citizen.
But listen, he's not
I can't
wrong,
get to
though.
the back.
Yeah,
what are you going to do? Climb over the cart?
Or be like this woman and be like, all right, I'll show you what happens if I can't
Yeah.
use the bathroom that's accessible.
You got the answer right here. You drop one on the cart to just establish dominance.
Well, or poop right outside of the first class bathroom. They told me I couldn't use it. Anyway, with that thought, we'll see you guys next week with a whole new batch of stories. Bye!